Okay, so after 3 weeks, it looks like Eagles rookie Sydney Brown might finally get his big opportunity to start this week, but it all depends on his injury status. Speaking of which, we got some huge injury updates regarding several key players, plus Nick Sirianni says the Eagles have a hidden gem that nobody really talks about, and Sean Desai just revealed his plan to get Nolan Smith more involved, as well as his aggressive mindset that has helped the Eagles defense dominate early in the season. So we're going to talk all about that and more in this video today, so let's not waste any time and get straight into it. Alright, so let's start this off by talking about something that has been making headlines ever since the Eagles started using it last year, and that is their unstoppable QB sneak play, formerly known as the tush push, but now newly dubbed as the brotherly shove, which I personally think is a way cooler name that fits the city of Philadelphia much better, and everyone seems to agree, including head coach Nick Sirianni.
You guys implemented the tush push, and I know so much has been made of it. Did you have any?
Is that what we're calling it?
I guess.
Okay. You said it.
Brotherly shove. Is that
Brotherly shove.
Can we just go with that?
Whatever comes up first in the search engine.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
I do too.
Who came up with that?
I don't know. I found it online.
All I can say is thank you to whoever came up with that new name, because an upgrade was definitely needed. But going back to the play itself, we obviously know how unstoppable it is and how much of a major part of the Eagles offense it has become since last year, and we also know that it has a lot of people pissed off, as there's been a lot of people calling for the play to be banned for a long time now, which I personally think is ridiculous because there's no good reason to ban it. I mean, it's not like it's impossible to stop this play. We've seen other teams this year try it and fail on multiple occasions. It's just that no other team has had near the amount of success the Eagles have had with it because, one, their offensive line led by Jason Kelce is extremely dominant, and two, Jalen Hurts is the strongest QB in the league. I mean, they're just built to be good at that play, so to ban it just because the Eagles are so good at it would be unfair and unwarranted. But still, you have people so upset by it that they are now taking things to the extreme, like this Bucs fan who on a live stream during the Eagles vs. Bucs Monday night game said this.
I'm gonna start being on the let's hurt Jalen Hurts trains.
Oh my.
Wow.
What? Oh, a scumbag.
Just for what?
Just because it's just annoying to watch as a fan. Like this game, they're gonna win this.
It's the rule.
They're gonna win this game. I get it, but
you like football too much to wish bad upon a player.
Go through it. Go through the whole process.
it just needs to be stopped. And if we got to take out one guy for the greater good.
And if this wasn't already crazy enough, notorious Jalen Hurts hater Chris Simms had some similar comments.
And then, the other thing that's going to stop it is, which is if I was a defensive coach, I'd be going with go ahead hunting on the quarterback here. Go ahead. Let him have it. Dive over, go crazy, try to kill the quarterback. That's what I would do.
Okay.
I don't mean it
first
like
of
that.
All,
yeah.
I didn't say that.
No, I did, but
I didn't say that, first of all.
But here,
second of all, that's not what Chris means.
Yeah, I don't mean kill, but I mean just make them pay, make them think twice about doing it.
I mean, dude, this is just disgusting. I mean, wishing injury on someone or even suggesting that defenses should try and injure a player for any reason is just beyond me. I mean, that's something I think is unanimously agreed upon in sports, is that you don't wish injuries on anyone. So for these two guys to make these comments about Hurts simply because they don't like how effective him and the Eagles have been at running this play is just insane to me. But hey, this changes nothing. The Eagles are going to keep running this play and continue making people mad because other teams just can't stop it, and let's just pray that Hurts never gets injured doing it. But now switching over to some real Eagles injury news, we got some updates on some key guys who have been either limited or out of practice this week, including starting safety Justin Evans, who has been dealing with a neck injury that he suffered versus the Bucs. He did not practice on Thursday. Neither did Sydney Brown, who's been dealing with a hamstring injury that he also picked up versus the Bucs. And new to the injury report is Devonta Smith, who did not participate on Thursday as he's dealing with some sort of illness, so I guess we'll see how bad that is and if it affects his status for Sunday. And then moving on, three guys who were limited in practice on Thursday were Fletcher Cox, Cam Jurgens, and Quez Watkins, as they're all dealing with various injuries. I think Cox and Jurgens should probably be good to go for Sunday. Now Quez I'm not sure about because this injury has seemed to be a little bit more serious, and this was his first practice back, so maybe they want to be more cautious with him, but I'm not sure. So I guess we'll see if he's back for the Commanders game. And then both Landon Dickerson, who's dealing with a knee contusion, and Boston Scott, who's obviously been in concussion protocol ever since the Vikings game, were a full go at practice, and both seem like they're going to be ready to go for the Commanders game. So with this injury report, the main concern comes at the safety position, as both, again, Justin Evans and Sydney Brown have not been practicing this entire week, and if neither can go, then it's certainly going to leave the Eagles pretty thin at safety, and Terrell Edmonds is going to have to get the start opposite Reed Blankenship, but hopefully the Eagles don't have to resort to that, as it was reported earlier in the week that Sydney Brown's injury is not all that serious. But now I don't know how to take that report with him missing practice on Thursday being this close to the game, and I think that makes it seem a little bit more likely that he won't play, but I guess we don't know. It could just be precautionary, and I guess we'll get a better idea on Friday with the official game injury report coming out. But with Justin Evans also dealing with an injury, you have to wonder if Sydney Brown could finally get a legit chance to start in the scenario that he's healthy enough to play and Evans isn't. I mean, he played really well when he was in the game on Monday, albeit in a small sample size, as he played just 12 snaps on defense at both the safety and slot cornerback positions, but he played well. He was targeted twice, but he allowed just 1 catch for 1 yard and just a 56.3 rating, and he also had a touchdown-saving pass breakup on Mike Evans, which was a huge play and very impressive from the rook not to be rattled in that moment, and both Nick Sirianni and Sean Desai had very good things to say about Sydney Brown when asked about him this week.
Sydney Brown has played like 8 snaps, and Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer. What goes into a young kid like that not backing down, not being in awe, kind of the moment being too big for him?
Mike Evans is outstanding. You're 100% right. And it shows you a little bit who Sydney is, that, you know, not overwhelmed by the moment, not overwhelmed by the opponent. And so he was just stuck to who he is, and, you know, he's confident in himself, we're confident in him, and it was a heck of a play.
Sydney Brown also played about 11 or so snaps there. What about his skill set lends itself to getting a look in that role?
Yeah, I think it was a lot of things. You know, he's obviously gotten some reps for us at safety as well, you know, through camp and practicing. He's got a really good football mind. He's hungry, and there's an opening and an opportunity for him to take some reps and learn that position. And there's a lot of carryover for some of the things that we require of him at safety. So we thought there was a good correlation for him to learn it, and he did it. He did a good job in that game, in the role that he was in.
I mean, I feel like at this point, Brown has earned an opportunity to start if Evans can't go and he's healthy enough to play. He's really done everything right in the opportunities that the coaches have given him, and we all know that he has tremendous potential, and I'd love for the Eagles to throw him out there so we can see what he can do in a bigger role, and I feel like there is a legit chance that they do that, considering he was out on the field in the Bucs game early, and he probably would have seen a lot more snaps on defense had he not went down with an injury, I believe, in the second quarter. So I don't know, it's definitely not a sure thing, especially considering the fact that Sydney Brown still was not practicing on Thursday, but I feel like if he is healthy, this could finally be Sydney Brown's chance to start. But what do you guys think? Should Sydney Brown get the start against the Commanders if he's able to go? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But now moving on here, just going back to some other injury-related news, we got to talk about Haason Reddick, because obviously through the first 3 weeks of the season, Reddick did not have the start he wanted. He has 0 sacks so far and just 1 tackle, and over the past 2 weeks, he's recorded 0 statistics. It's not like Reddick hasn't been able to get pressure. If you just watch him throughout the course of the game, it's not like he's having 0 impact whatsoever, but still, it definitely was not the start to the year that Reddick had wanted. And a lot of people had gone on to speculate why Reddick was having these early season struggles, and I think it's safe to assume, whether he wants to admit it or not, that that thumb injury that he suffered during training camp that required surgery, and then he had to wear the cast for the first 3 weeks of the season, that affected him a lot. But now it seems like he's not going to have to deal with that anymore, as we got some good news regarding that from Reddick himself.
Man, I'm just extremely happy to be out of the cast this week and get out there with another opportunity to go play ball.
Can you describe how challenging it was to play with and how it kind of changed how you were able to function?
As I was saying earlier, man, you know, I don't even talk like that. I'm not going to talk like that. I'm not a guy that make excuses. Once again, I'm just letting y'all know I'm extremely happy to be out of the cast. But I'm not here to make excuses. What happened. The injury happened. It is what it is. You know, I'm still going to go out there, give my full effort, no matter what condition I'm in, as long as I'm able to play. But as I said, I'm finally out of my cast, and I'm extremely happy about that.
So that is obviously fantastic news. Reddick's got the cast off his thumb, and like he said, he's not going to make any excuses as to why he had a slow start, but he is very happy that it's now off, and hopefully now that it's off, he should go back to being his usual dominant self that we saw over the past 3 seasons, and especially last year in his first year with the Eagles. And I think it's very possible that we could see a Haason Reddick breakout game this week, especially considering the fact that last week versus the Bills, the Washington Commanders offensive line allowed 9 sacks on Sam Howell. So with Reddick now with the cast off and back fully healthy, I think there's a good chance he gets not only his first sack on the year, but he's able to have a huge impact on this game, which just makes the Eagles' dominant defensive line even scarier. But now moving on, one area of question heading into the season for the Eagles was seemingly punt returner, but now 3 games into the new campaign, that's actually starting to look like a strength, as Britain Covey has been phenomenal to start the year, particularly in the last game versus the Bucs, as he had a 52-yard punt return, and he was just solid all night long. But Covey wasn't just good on Monday, as he's been really solid throughout the first 3 games, and it goes beyond even that, as even though it seems like nobody has really paid any attention to it, Covey has been pretty amazing amazing ever since week 13 of last season, as he's first in pretty much every statistical category that you can think of in terms of punt returns since then. So going back to this nice showing he had on Monday, Nick Sirianni was asked about how he felt about what Covey was able to do, and Sirianni absolutely praised him.
Were you to see Covey have that kind of experience tonight?
That was great. You know, he did what we've seen over and over again in practice. You know, since he's got here, and he's been, I don't know, Bob, you would know this. I don't know where he's been in the NFL. I think he was top 10 in punt return last year. I know he's up there. I think he might be number 1 this year. I think someone said as far as punt return. So we know we got maybe a hidden gem that not everybody always fully appreciates. Shoot, we sure do. And he is, you know, fan favorite, or pardon me, a locker room favorite here. Like, these guys love Britain Covey because he's tough. He works his butt off. Great personality. I'm so glad he's our punt returner. Shoot, man, I can't say enough good things about the player and about the person. I appreciate you asking me that question, Mero.
So you heard it there. Britain Covey is a hidden gem that has been performing well, but hasn't really gotten any sort of recognition until this week. So I gotta give him his credit. I'll admit, I have never been a fan of Britain Covey, but he has definitely changed my mind with how he's been playing this season, especially last week versus the Bucs. So hopefully he continues to prove to be a weapon and he keeps producing throughout the rest of the season. So now real quick, before we continue on with the rest of the video, I just want to say, if you are enjoying this video and want to see others like it coming in the future, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Around 80% of the people that watch these videos are not subscribed. If you're one of those people and you love Philadelphia Eagles content and you don't want to miss any of that coming in the future throughout the rest of this season, make sure you go fix that right now. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss when any other videos are uploaded. I think that's a win-win for the both of us. And now with all that being said, let's get back into the video. Now, there's obviously been a lot of talk with how Philadelphia's defense has looked to start the year, as they've had stretches where they've looked absolutely dominant. I mean, their defensive line really all year has been great. They've been effective at rushing the passer, even though they haven't had that performance yet where they're just racking up the sacks, but there's no doubt in my mind that that'll come soon. And then against the run, they've been nothing short of amazing, as they're currently the best run defense in the league, as they've allowed just 145 total rushing yards through 3 games. And then on the back end, they've gotten better as the season's gone on, and they've also tackled well. So overall, this defense has looked really stout to start the year. Their best performance obviously came during last week's win over the Bucs, where they allowed just 174 total yards of offense and got 2 takeaways, along with only allowing 11 points. So with this impressive start for the Eagles defense, a lot of credit has to be given to new defensive coordinator Sean Desai. I mean, he's been nothing short of phenomenal, especially considering the amount of injuries that he's had to deal with. It just feels like you couldn't really have asked for a much better start than what Desai has given us to start the season, and a lot of it, I think, has to do with his mindset and philosophy. I mean, he seems to be a lot more aggressive and unafraid than defensive coordinators that the Eagles have had in the past, and Desai gave us a little bit of insight into his more aggressive philosophy in his most recent press conference.
You know, we believe in an aggressive mindset. You know, that doesn't change for us really on any level, and we want swarm. You know, we want bodies to the ball, and you're seeing some of that, and that's how takeaways happen. You know, good things happen when we run to the ball. We want big men running out of the stack. We want guys from the backside of the field coming. And we want people to be at the ball. We want a lot of jerseys in the screen, and that's part of people feeling us. You know, if it's just one guy all the time, it's lonely out there if you're just the same guy making that tackle. So you want your brothers with you, and that's kind of the mentality that we preach, and we're going to continue that way.
I mean, I really think that this is the kind of mentality that Philadelphia Eagles fans want their defensive coordinator to have. I mean, they want their defense to play physical, to play fast, just play with 100% effort, so I'm glad that that's been Desai's philosophy, and so far, it's been working, so he deserves a ton of credit for that. Now, in addition to Desai's aggressive mentality, something else that myself and I think a lot of Eagles fans like about Desai is not only his ability to take accountability for things that haven't gone well, but also his apparent willingness to adapt and make changes when they need to be made. And one thing that many Eagles fans have been waiting on is a bigger opportunity for Nolan Smith to play more, as the rookie really hasn't gotten too much of an opportunity to make a big impact with how crowded the Eagles pass rushing unit is, but it does seem like Sean Desai has a plan to change that, as when he was asked what Nolan Smith has to do to earn more playing time, this is what he said.
You know, I think there's a function of a lot of things. I think he's doing a great job. You know, I don't know if he's got to do more. I got to try to get some packages where we get him out there a little bit more, and it fits into our rotational plan. it's part of the send in the waves people that, you know, he's part of that. His reps count will go up. We'll go up as we go, and we'll be diligent to do that.
So you heard it there. Desai said he's planning on giving Nolan more playing time as the year goes on, which I love to hear because I think the kid just has so much potential, and as he continues to learn and have on-field experiences that come with playing more games and more snaps, he's only going to develop. And I also think that he definitely has the ability to produce right now. I mean, we've seen a couple flashes here and there from him in the little opportunities that he's gotten so far, so with a bigger role, I think you'll only see more of those, and he could have a much bigger impact moving forward. So what do you guys think? How do you feel about Nolan Smith potentially getting more playing time? And also, what are your thoughts on just anything else that I've talked about in this video? Let me know all of them down in the comments below. And also, if you did enjoy this video, make sure you subscribe again and turn on notifications so you don't miss when any other videos just like this are uploaded in the future. Also, drop a like again if you did enjoy to show some support. And also, if you want to watch another video talking about Jalen Carter, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Hurts, and more in the Eagles win over the Bucks, you can go check this out right here. Now, with all that being said, that's pretty much all I got for this one, guys. So thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.